Don't talk about me that much, by the way. Yeah, and she shouldn't be drinking alcohol. What the fuck? The way the Chinese care for their countrymen, that solidarity is amazing. It always surprises me. Is the iguana drinking? There is nothing to be surprised about. Chinese society is no different from how things are for you all at Primavera. You guys whore yourself out. It is just people who share a homeland, helping each other. The same as friends working at the same job, helping each other, like in Primavera. True. At least when it comes to helping out friends, we're the same. Precisely. People are living things who help one another as they live. That is natural for people. So Chinatown and Primavera are based on the same foundation. Correct. It is easy to be aware of it in Chinatown because it stands out. But people in all countries all over the world help each other out. It is the same for the Americans. They never forgive those who attack their countrymen. That's pretty accurate. That's true enough. The American army responds incredibly quickly if an American civilian is involved. To you it may look like favoritism, but if you see it from the point of view of American camaraderie, there's nothing strange about it at all. Yeah, because it's a giant extended family. I mean, that kind of touches on to nationalism, I guess. Just a tad bit. Or patriotism, if you're in America. In the first place, the Japanese national trait of persistently disliking favoritism is actually rare in the world. Is it? After all, favoritism is unfair. And? In school, if the teacher is kind to only one student, that would certainly be unfair. In that case, when crowds of children are starving, is it unfair for a parent to feed their child first? No. In that case, if you could split up the food and give it fairly to all children, that sounds like communism. God damn it. There are a great many children starving throughout the world. By your kind-hearted argument, Rose, the Japanese children would only be able to eat a single grain of rice. Everyone would eat a single grain of rice if this logic held. The thing is, at least in the moral system that a lot of people have, it's you take care of the people around you first, and then it's like a concentric circles of importance and shit. So when you have a nation, more people care about the people in their nation rather than people that they'll never meet, they'll never know. Shit like that. The others. You close your eyes to all the others throughout the world and give food to your child who is right in front of you first. That is not favoritism or anything of the sort. That is natural love, which no one has grounds for criticizing. Giving charity to the starving people across the world is something that should be considered after your children's stomachs are full. That's right. If you neglect your child and give charity to others first, you'd be a hypocrite and a failure of a parent. That is it. There is an order, a ranking for compassionate charity. Of one of those ranks is caring for your countrymen, the spirit to help out people from the same homeland. You can't save everyone at the same time. It's only natural that you have an order of whom you save first. Exactly. People are not Buddha. You have to start by saving your neighbors. That way, fellow neighbors help each other, and the prosperous result is Chinatown. Also, the logic also dictates, kind of in a selfish way, that you kind of put yourselves in those people's shoes that are right next to you, because you can empathize with them a lot easier with people you already know, people that share, I'm American. Hey, you're an American too. We have, these shared experiences, at least as being an American, that is. So we can understand each other on a more fundamental level. So it's easier to empathize with that person and their suffering, rather than just a random person from a different country that you really don't have a lot of shared experiences with. Or shared ideas, I guess. Sociology is fun. In the human mind. Rose, there is no need to think too hard about it. In your case, you just have to think of your friends in Primavera first, that is all. I mean, it's obvious. She should. As her role as, this leader, she definitely has to prioritize them over a lot of other people. That's right. That's my mission as the madam. Love your precious friends above all others. There's not favoritism, but love. I'm certainly a kind-hearted person like you will become a... I'm certain a kind-hearted person like you will become a wonderful madam, respected by everyone. Maybe Lee's words had tugged at Rose's heartstrings. Even after she finished eating, she seemed to be thinking deeply after it for a while. Even during the ride back, Rose stared out the window thinking about something. Leo took Rose to her apartment. Hey, want to chat? Ladies in the evening sleep during the day. It was bedtime now. You know what? Maybe she doesn't want to chat. She probably has a busy evening. Good night. Sweet dreams. Hey, Leo. What? Is the window open? What's up? I've always thought favoritism was a bad thing. Was I wrong? You mean about what that Chinese person said? Yeah. I've always believed that being fair to everyone was a virtue. Fairness really isn't a virtue, though. But does that mean that you're neglecting the friends you're supposed to protect? The problem is, if you, like, put friends on the same level as strangers, you risk alienating your friends because it's like, why the fuck am I friends? If you're just going to treat me like everyone else, what the fucking point's the friendship? Right? If you discriminate between your friends, that's probably unfair. That much is exactly the same as what you've believed. What Lee was probably trying to say is that prioritizing your friends and helping them first isn't unfair. Yeah. Amanda got mad at me, but I did save that girl named Helena. Yeah, her point, at least if you want to put it in through Lee's perspective, that if the same thing happens again, you necessarily have to save every one of your girls, no matter the price at that point, because you already went out of your way to pay $1 million to save this one random girl. That means you have to pay at least a minimum of $1 million for the girls that you have. She wasn't part of Primavera, but I wanted to save her. For that girl, I used a lot of money that everyone at Primavera worked so hard to earn. I felt as though I had done something good, but was that a mistake? It's not a mistake necessarily. It's not as though there aren't girls hurting for money in Primavera. Maybe it would have been better to use those $1 million to help them. Maybe it would have been right to abandon Helena. Logically speaking, that's right. Logically speaking, Primavera's money should only be used for Primavera. Yeah. However, I can say this. What? You're able to let go of that much money for someone like Helena, and that's why everyone's fallen in love with you and follows you. Favoritism and unfairness. That's what happens when you make orders based on decisions that aren't backed up by your convictions. What are convictions? Deeply held beliefs. That's your heart, sitting there inside your chest. Place his hand on her chest. Leo tapped his fist up against Rose's chest. I was kidding. When you're lost, believe in your heart. If your heart whispered to you, telling you to save Helena, then that was the right thing. What else does it whisper? Leo turned around while saying goodnight and returned to the car. My heart's saying something. Hey, Leo, do you have a heart too? Of course. Then what does it whisper to you? This is your chance, Leo. This is your chance! This girl's heart is more kind and fragile than anyone else's. So I've got to protect her. Go get some sleep, miss. Or do you need me to kiss you goodnight? That's a yes! Okay. Yes. She didn't say no! Wow. Awesome. Doctor, the patient in room 303 has he regained consciousness? That's wonderful. And, when I went to tell you that he'd regained consciousness, he suddenly disappeared. Great, that's what's his face. I forgot his name already. Is your body okay now? Oh, Alfred. Oh, it's truly in top form. Very, very good it is. It was only my consciousness that wouldn't come back. These wounds are nothing. I just got hit by a car. By the way, how are those Primavera folks doing? Well, after that, they've gotten kind of really cocky. Rumor has it they've been sucking up to the occupying forces. They got an American Army car parked there most of the time. That's not what I was asking. Alfred grabbed the head of the man in the passenger seat from behind, placing a knife against his throat. I'm asking is what happened to them after we had our revenge? You must have at least had made a necklace of Primavera Girl's ears to celebrate my return, haven't you? Well, but boss, if they've gotten the backing of the occupying forces, there's nothing we can... How useless you all are. In that case, I'll give you a little lesson in American-style revenge. Of course, we'll lay him out. We'll gather the troops right away. Let's go raid Primavera. No. A raid would be no fun at all. Yeah, because you all would get fucking slaughtered. The American forces would hunt you down like dogs and kill you. In that case, this car, take it to the toy shop, not the hideout. Toy shop? Understood. You've made crazy Alfred go crazy. And you'll regret it oh so very much. Ha ha! Laughing ensues. There you go, black tea, oolong tea, and kelp tea. Your tea really is good. Is there some kind of trick to it? The trick is paying attention to the little details. I'm surprised you can manage the little details with those beefy fingers. Sorry to keep you waiting. Rose, what business do you have today? It's about the captain's dance party, isn't it? Well, yes. Calm yourself. There will be no trouble. I've already made arrangements with all the businessmen. About those businessmen, well... They're all large-scale foreign businessmen with strong connections in commerce. The large scale they work with, the cheaper we can get. The larger scale they work with, the cheaper we can get what we need. And the more you buy, the better rates you get. That's classic. There's the man in charge of Primavera Safe for you. While I'm still on this earth, I won't let a single cent go to waste. Have no fear. After all, you'll mercilessly pick up every penny he finds lying on the street. Income that needs no receipt is the best kind. It's not to be overlooked. I don't pay taxes on this. Don't tell me this bottle of small change is because of that. He's been saving that up since he was a little kid. Pretty soon he'll have enough for a nice beef steak. You'd be surprised at actually how much fucking money you can accumulate just by picking up fucking spare change. I mean, just saying, found like $10 in a fucking vending machine. Free of charge. All in the coin change slot. Just saying. Always check. I should start keeping my eye on the ground when I walk. Ha ha ha! Richard. Rose, who had been hanging her head uncomfortably this whole time, raised her voice, her shaking. The men spun around, thinking she was very angry. She was angry at them. I think we've made arrangements, but I'm so sorry. What are you talking about? Is there some sort of problem? About our purchases for the dance party. No, about all of Primavera's purchases. Is there something wrong? We're doing regular jobs thorough checks of Primavera's contracts, you know? Indeed, we've been careful to make sure that no harmful deals or unclear accounting has taken place. I know that. Thank you so much for doing all that time. And with that understanding, what is it? Rose kept hanging her head, unable to say it. Richard and the others tilted their heads, completely confused about what she was trying to bring up. Well, Richard, all the business men we've contacted with are foreigners, right? Correct. It's not as though we've been trying to avoid Japanese businessmen. It's just that when comparing the estimates from all of them, those were the ones with the best numbers. Well, it's not like those small, weak Japanese businesses can compete. Just how hard is it for the Japanese businessmen to compete? Well, they have to offer lower product or lower cost of goods or a superior product. They can't offer a lower price of good because they don't have the inventory to do that. And like the large scale production, they can't offer a superior product because they don't have the capital to invest in that kind of shit. So they're kind of fucked. If an American can get it for 100, it'll cost a Japanese person 110. A difference 10% is quite large. It's a sad but natural result. What about the captain's kickback? Of course, it's still there. Was it 10% of the total? I don't see where you're going with this. What's your point? I believe in the voice of your heart. Yeah. Is it still possible to ask Japanese businessmen to do the job? That's a fucking terrible idea. We're going to pay $700 instead of the $110, because why the fuck not? I know that it's expensive, but that's because the Japanese businessmen are small and weak, right? And because it's so expensive, no one will make deals with them, and their stores go under. So we will just get screwed because we want to be nice to Japanese people. I'm sorry. Fuck them. Like, fuck. And to be fair, we can't keep these people afloat by taking, like, bad deals on our part. But on the other hand, if they get more deals, their stores will get bigger. We have to do so much fucking business with them to be able to afford more capital and more investment in their inventory. There's just no way that's possible. Fuck. That way, they'll be able to get more connections, and it'll be possible for them to get things cheaper. You will have 10% of the money for the captain's kickback, right? If we use that money, it should be possible to get the same goods from Japanese businessmen. I trust the captain. If he did want a kickback, he'd probably say so himself. You want to lose the captain's kickback and use that money on Japanese businessmen? Sounds like a terrible idea. How foolish. Why would we go out of our way to make deals with expensive businessmen? It's literally like anti-capitalism. At least being smart. It isn't a matter of money. I've been thinking. Americans and the Chinese all think about their countrymen and help each other. If it doesn't actively hurt us, we do that. Like, if we were going to give out, like, if they needed loans or something, that's like, that doesn't really hurt us because we get paid back in the end of the day. We can just give them a favorable loan, like a good interest rate and shit like that. But, like, no, this literally only hurts us and won't help them in the long term. Realistically speaking, we're one business. We have to do a fuck ton of business with them to, like, really help them. Only the Japanese ignore their countrymen and make deals only based on money. Yeah, only them. Okay. Just what are these connections that the foreign businessmen use to get things cheaply? The people in their own country? Isn't that all based on them helping their fellow countrymen? Japanese businessmen don't earn money, so Japanese stores are going under one after another. As a result, there's less and less places for the Japanese to be employed, so they're losing their jobs. That's why the Japanese are falling lower and lower, becoming scorned by foreign people. My father told me to be Japanese. I've always thought about what he meant, and now I know. Being Japanese means helping out your fellow Japanese. I just can't get around the fact that, like, this girl was, like, bullied while she was growing up for being half foreign, and now she's, like, super fucking nice to all these people. Didn't the old Japanese people help out their countrymen? But ever since the Meiji era, that sudden westernization has changed our whole cultural values. Well, wait, we were just making the argument that fucking Western people helped other people. What the fuck? This is conflicting narratives. Instead of helping our fellow Japanese, putting money first has become moral, everyday value for us. Yeah, normal, not moral, sorry. Right now, I think that's sad. It's true that we lost the war, and that the country called Japan was destroyed. But we're still Japanese at heart. That's the moral. But this is Japan, and we are Japanese. How can we call ourselves Japanese if everyone in Japan is suffering? And we're more concerned with the profit and loss than helping each other out. Because we will go under if we don't care about the profit or loss. Rose's fierce emotions drew a single tear from her eye. As she wiped it away, Leo's large hands rested on Rose's small shoulders. The captain hasn't demanded a kickback. There is such a thing as the impressions we convey. If he gets mad, we'll just stick out our tongues and apologize. It won't change whether or not we can get the goods. The captain will just lose his pocket money. I just don't see this like a really fucking smart idea. It's just all around. It doesn't help anything. It won't change. That's true, logically speaking. The captain's money will just go to feed the price difference for the Japanese businessmen. Wait, if they're only like 10% higher, how are the fuck... Or that would be 20% total, technically. If they're only 20%... Oh, wait, no, it'd actually technically be... I hate extra percentage math. 21% technically. 21% more expensive, I think. Yeah, 21%. So, I mean, like, if it's only that much more, it's not even that bad. How are they going out of business if it's only, like, that little amount of money? It should be very possible to give the captain the unashamed dance party he wants. Let's assume that I grudgingly agree. There are still two problems. First, there's no guarantee that the captain won't take it badly. Second, the American businessmen we've made tentative deals with have been doing large deals with Primavera up until now. Oh, great, let's burn a bridge for other people. Due to the nature of our work, we won't want to stir up trouble with the Americans. You almost said it yourself, Rose. Something about this applying not only to the dance party, but to all of Primavera's dealings. Yes. Primavera is an alliance of several establishments. Our unified purchase should make for large-scale, secure, and long-lasting business transactions. And reneging on those business transactions, or at least changing them, really negatively impacts our deals right now with Americans. We have really great prices, just saying. To those Japanese businessmen who can't compete with foreigners, it'll be like salvation coming down from heaven. If those Japanese businessmen are at ease financially, I believe they'll have the freedom they need to employ Japanese people. What if they don't, actually? Like, what if they literally said, fuck it, we're gonna hire this, like, cheap labor dude instead? Well, I mean, Japanese people are cheap labor. What if they don't pay them a lot? If this repeats, maybe everyone will become a little more prosperous and happier than they are today. This will mean cutting off the foreign businessmen who have guaranteed to maintain secure contracts. I'm just saying, I wouldn't do that. I think that's a bad idea. This will lose a large-scale deal. I believe that will invite trouble. Still, they must have many other customers. Oh, God. After all, being able to get things cheap is a big plus. They won't run dry just because we break off the deal. I'll apologize to everyone we've made deals with. I believe that we're in the more successful category of Japanese people today. Does that mean it's okay for us alone to live life easily? Yeah, actually. We were able to maximize our profits. Sounds shitty, but yeah. A place to live and food to eat isn't something that natural a thing we should share with our many comrades. Yeah, but we risk going under ourselves if we just start wasting money and start eating it into our own profit margins. Whatever, fuck it. Richard sighed, then sat back in his chair. Apparently, he was fully aware of Rose's position. It's a difficult problem. Capitalism and the love for one's homeland. Two opposing ideas. There's such a thing as the responsibility of the rich. Noblesse oblige, is it? It's a thought that doesn't fit with the Japanese value of honorable poverty. There's no such thing as honorable poverty. Fuck off with that. I'll just say that. I don't agree with, like... I just personally don't think it would actually matter that much dealing deals with Japanese dudes here. That's why I'd say. Like, if it actually... Like, if we could, like, prove it would help a lot of people, then yeah, sure. But, like, I think we'd do better by having more profit margins, and then we could actually, like, hire people to, like, move product or something like that. Not necessarily bodyguards, but people who can do shipping and, like, bringing stuff to us. I would say that's, like, more of a direct way of helping someone. After all, admitting that you're rich doesn't fit in with the humble culture of Japan. What do you think, Leo? From what you said, it seems you already knew what Rose was thinking. I'm just a bodyguard. I'll support anything the madam says. However, I can't say this. Because Rose picked me up, I was able to find food and a place to sleep. I was saved, but there's tons of people out in the city with no food, no place to sleep. If Rose wants to save even a few of those people, there's no reason for a saved man like me to disagree. Oh, there's another reason you're not disagreeing. Oh, when you put it that way, makes me want to change my position too. The number of men back from the war is still going up. There's not many jobs that will employ a Japanese person. If they take money from a man like Alfred and become his underlings, well, it's hard to blame them. In other words, in the end, I believe public order will improve and the girls of Primavera will be safer too. Maybe. But then there's the argument if that we gave like more money to like Americans in general, like through fucking tax memes and shit, their soldiers and presence in Japan would get stronger, thus meaning like more of a crackdown on gangs necessarily, at least for Primavera girls. Whatever. And also if we gave the captain more money, he'd be more inclined to protect us more. We may stand to lose from this one deal, however, if we look at the long term, I'm sure there's no way to look at the long term and be like, sure here. Because we gain in the long term, keeping these deals as well. Please, Richard. Please listen to this whim of mine. A man who makes a career out of handling money. I can't pretend to understand. But your heart is whispering to you, isn't it? It doesn't whisper. There's nothing in my chest except a scale that measures money. However, if I refuse Rose's request, I may be dismissed from my role with relations to the money. If so, I would no longer be able to manage a large quantity of money. The scales within me have merely decided that following Madame Rose's decision is the best option. Woo, well said, Richard. What do you want in exchange? Make it another cup of oolong tea, get the typewriter. I have to write a letter turning down their deals. Richard, I'm sorry. Thanks for following this whim of mine. I think it's just a bad idea. I like where her heart is, but I just think it's a bad idea, personally. If you have no other business, please leave. Thanks to you, I now have a lot of urgent business to take care of. Thanks to you, I've got a lot to go through. I've got to go through typewriter hell again. When that happens, I'll take on tea duty. Rose, if we change our suppliers, costs will rise, of course. If you don't want to change the average price for customers or the size of wages, the quality of alcohol and food will have to be lowered, of course. Only 10%, right? Well, it is hard to imagine our drunk customers picking out a difference of 10% in grade. Man, that is literally not how... Okay, that's how alcohol works now. Okay. You just go to the alcohol store and be like, I give you $100. Give me 100% grade. I give you $80. Give me 20% less grade of this. That's how alcohol works. Give me 20% less quality. After all, it's a club for drinking with women and making noise. And the girls will just have to give it 10% extra service in their work. That's right. We'll liven the club up with 10%. No, much more extra service. If we're doing that, then our prices will fucking go up. What? That's terrible.